What is up, everybody? Professional wrestler Chris Wilde, not injured, here on Eagles News Now. I did a live right after the game from Bar 4133, and now I am doing, now that my emotions have kind of subsided, want to talk about this absolutely horrible Eagles loss here with everybody during this live stream. Wow. Where should I get started? I guess this broadcast is going to be sponsored by White Claw because I've had to drink a lot of it today. Kind of a reverse from last year, right? Last year, Redskins go up 17-0. Eagles come back, win the game. A little bit different, though. The Eagles had no business the Eagles had no business winning this game. Let's be honest, okay? What's up, Peter Hobbs? I'm disappointed too. But let's be honest here. When Lane Johnson was questionable on the injury report, and then today, about an hour before the game, they said that he wasn't going to start, expectations should have been really low. For some reason, I still felt like the Eagles could win this game. They go up 17-0, despite 4 sacks. And if you look at my preview video, I said if Lane Johnson could not play, this Eagles offensive line was going to be a lot of trouble because the Washington team, if they have nothing else, which they don't, they have a really good defensive line, one of the best in the NFL, and we saw it today with 8 sacks, probably could have been more, and they did their thing. You just can't go in last minute starting a rookie Jake Driscoll. Nate Herbig has never played a game at right guard either. I think what really bothers me the most is how unprepared the Eagles seem to be for Lane Johnson not playing. You know, and this is the same thing with Miles Sanders, who also didn't play. Actually, while I'm at it, let's talk about that the Eagles, compared to the Washington football team, the Eagles had 7. By the end of the game, it was 9 starters that did not play. The Washington football team, 1. And that's kind of how it is all across the league. Nobody across the league has as many injuries as the Philadelphia Eagles, and this has been the way it's been for the past 3 years. Now, medical team has switched. Can't blame it on the medical team. So who do you put this blame on? I mean, to me, this is a Howie Roseman thing. The fact that you have just demolished a couple drafts in a row, the 2017, the 2018 draft, the fact that, and I didn't even want to get to this yet, the fact that your second round pick from this year is not even active because he's a quarterback and you don't need a quarterback says a lot about this franchise. Look, Carson Wentz holds a lot of blame to what happened to the Eagles today, probably more than anybody else on the team. And I'm a Wentz guy. I really am. But what can this guy do? What can Carson Wentz do when you've got guys in your face almost immediately? As soon as he snaps the football, there are guys in his face. Oh, we say, Carson, you got to throw the ball away. Where are you throwing it to? Where were you throwing it away to? Because you can't see. The pressure that was on Wentz today was unreal. I've never seen anything like it in any football game. There might as well not even been an offensive line there, to be honest with you. Eagles Clips, what's up? I stared at the screen for about 2 minutes. Dude, I knew, into the fourth quarter, as soon as the Washington team got the lead, I knew it was over. I knew it was over because, I'm kind of jumping all over the place here, but let's talk about this defense. Eagles, look, the Washington team, first off, if there are any Washington fans watching this broadcast, I'm going to tell you, hats off to you for winning the game, but don't be proud of your team. Your team is garbage. The Washington football team is garbage. They've got nobody on offense. They got Terry McLaurin, who was held in check for most of this game, and that's it. Dwayne Haskins is garbage. The Eagles' defense, barely any pressure. When they went down that 17-0 run, yeah, the defense was cooking. They 3 and outs all over the place because Washington has nobody. They have nobody on their team. So this Eagles defense just – is it Jim Schwartz? Because I saw a lot of Jim Schwartz stuff. I mean, look, Ron Rivera knows how to beat the Eagles, okay? We beat him 2017 in Carolina. I think we lost twice in a row to him. He was the coach for the Carolina team that came back being 17 points down against the Eagles. He knows how to beat the Eagles. He lets them do what they want to do in the first half. He finds out what they're weak on, and then he goes after it. And he did that today. Okay, he knows he's got nobody on offense, but the Eagles' offensive line is paper thin. I mean, there are high schools with better offensive lines than the Eagles. So he let Carson throw on them. Then once he realized that the Eagles have no running game whatsoever, they don't. They have no running game. You can't go into a game. Look, we got away with it for a couple games last year with Boston Scott being the starter. I think it was only one that he played most of the game because Miles went out. Boston Scott and Corey Clement, that is, no matter what people said about him in camp, he is not the 2017 version of Corey Clement. He's just not. He's not what he was. Every time he got the ball in his hands today, I didn't see anything electric. I didn't see anything explosive. No power. He didn't look like there. It just looked there was nothing there. Same with Boston. He tried to do what he could do, but this Eagles offensive line, you can't even run with this offensive line. You can't set up a script. I see people saying, well, what happened to the screen? What happened to the screenplay? You can't do a screenplay or a screen pass when your offensive line is getting destroyed. Who blocks? John Hightower, who is a pencil skinny, like who does it? This Eagles offense, geez, just the fact that they were 17-0 is surprising to me. John Hightower looked like Nelson Aguilar out there. Jalen Reagor had that one bomb on 3rd and 22, then disappeared. I mean, you didn't go down the field as much as you should have. Look, the Eagles, once they knew they couldn't run the ball, they just completely stopped doing that. You probably maybe should have. There are so many people to blame for this. I would love to see more comments and hear you guys' thoughts, because to me, I've seen a lot of Eagles losses, man. And look, it's hard to keep beating a team. The Eagles have beaten the Redskins, 6 straight times or something. It's hard to do that. The odds are already stacked against you. But to have a 17-point lead, to me, I'm really disappointed in this defense for not, even though Carson handed the football team 14 points, basically, short fields. The fact that the defense just unraveled, man. That one touchdown catch to Logan Thomas, he was wide open in the end zone. There's no pressure. Fletcher Cox, there's 1 or 2 sacks on Dwayne Haskins. A guy that's known for throwing picks doesn't throw any. Carson Wentz has got to know he cannot expect these rookie wide receivers to have these perfect routes, because those 2 interceptions, the one, the wide receiver drifted. I think it was Reagor from the route. The second one, it was a bad throw. The wide receiver didn't play defense on it all. I just look. Everything that happened today was everything that you were worried was going to happen. It just. What else can I say? It's so bad. I'm absolutely. If this is the way the whole season is going to be, this is going to be a very, very long season. And you know what? I didn't mind no fans being in the stadium. At first, I thought, man, maybe this helps Carson. Maybe this helps the offense, because Carson was hitting those hard counts, and the Redskins were jumping. That shit ended. Doug Peterson, this falls a lot on Doug Peterson. Ron Rivera outcoached him in the second half, made adjustments when he had to. Doug did neither of that. Again, I understand you can't run. I understand it's not working. But how can you just completely stop running the ball when your quarterback is getting his ass whooped? Do you want Carson Wentz out of the game? Do you want Nate Sudfeld in there? Because guess what? If Carson's out, Nate's getting his ass whooped, and you can't activate your second-round pick. This is insane. These drafts are crazy to me. Jalen Hurts, you draft him. Great. Jalen Hurts is a great player. But you already have a quarterback. Your second-round pick, how many teams in the league? And this is just an honest question, because I don't know. How many teams in the league have second-round picks that are not active, that aren't injured, that are a healthy scratch? How many? Is it just the Eagles because they decided to draft a guy they didn't need to? Your third round pick, Davian Taylor. Did anyone hear his name today except for a penalty? It's crazy, man. Reagor had that great catch, that great bomb, and you never went back to him except for at the end of the second half when everyone knew you were going to throw deep anyway. Deshaun Jackson, he was on the sideline a lot of the game. This guy can't stay healthy. JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Oh my gosh, great camp by JJ, right? I spoke him up. Nothing, not one catch, not one target. Zach Ertz drops a fourth down catch. It's just mind-boggling to me. Again, because the Washington team has nothing. They don't have running backs. They got one good wide receiver. That's it. They got a good defense. But you mean to tell me the Eagles defense could not have stopped that Washington team at all? It's just unreal, man. Tom Joe, so we made him Jalen Hurts if Carson gets hurt. You're right. I mean, you're right. But at the same time, if our offensive line is so bad, if Carson gets hurt, who's to say Jalen's not going to get hurt? No matter what quarterback you have back there, they're going to get fucking hurt. Excuse my language. They're going to get hurt. It's just going to happen. It's nuts. Carson fumbling the ball a couple times. And I love the people on Twitter that say, well, he's got to learn to hold on to it, or he's got to throw it away. He's got to throw it away. Where? How do you know? And Eagles Clip says he would trade Ertz. Goddard was better. Goddard was a hell of a lot better in this game. Ertz, I love Zach Ertz, man. I really do. I would pay the guy. I honestly would pay the guy. He is letting, I don't know who's getting in his ears. I heard the report today that he had an animated, heated discussion with Howie Roseman. Somebody, look, he's letting this contract thing get to him to where it's affecting his play, because it definitely affected his play today. He caught that touchdown. After that, nothing except for that drop. Whoever's in his ear right now, it's his agent. I don't know, family members. I don't know who it is, but he's got to let that shit go, man. He's still got 2 years under his contract. And Dallas Goedert looks good. He really does. He was about the only person on that Eagles team that looked 100% good. First off, the Eagles, if you look at the stats, and I don't have them pulled up, the Eagles lose when Lane Johnson is not, at least Carson Wentz does, when Lane Johnson's not in that lineup, man. And you get yourself to a point where it's like the Eagles had to have had a little bit of an inclination that that Lane Johnson was not going to play. But since you had to, this is an implication of coaching and general managing, since you believe that, he might be able to make a go at it, what happens? Instead of bringing a guy up like Elijah Holyfield or Adrian Killins from the practice squad to help this very much hurting running back group, you can't bring anybody else up because you got Lane Johnson still on the offense, on the team. It is just, to me, I don't know. Trade Ertz for all O-line help. Look, they had Cordy Glenn in here. I guess to what do you call Jason Peters' bluff, I guess. I mean, they've had guys in here. They just, for whatever reason, haven't made the right moves, man. We lost to a garbage team today. If we lost to the Rams, or if we lost to the Cowboys, or if we lost to the Bucks or the Saints, I would be okay, even though you blew a 17-0 lead. You lost to the sorry-ass Washington football. They don't even have a name. They don't even have a name. They're horrible. They're sorry. They suck. And the Eagles went out there, and I don't know if they just got comfortable with the 17-point lead. Dom Jones, thank you. Yes, slash this like button, man. But they absolutely, again, Doug Peterson was, 4-0, 5-0 on home openers. Not anymore. That trend ends. So now we got to face the Rams next week at home. It's just, dude, guys, it is so frustrating. And I wrote some notes down. The one thing that really annoyed me was Hurts being inactive. I understand you're not going to start 3 quarterbacks. I get that. but this is a second-round pick. I was watching a little bit of the New Orleans-Tampa Bay game, and I saw Taysom Hill run for like 20 yards, or he had a first down run. And I'm like, everybody said, oh, the Eagles got a package set for Jalen Hurts. He's not even active. You can't even do that. Carson Wentz, look, this shows you how horribly bad this Eagles running game was today. Carson Wentz did a sneak on 3rd and 2. Not 3rd and 1, not 3rd and inch, 3rd and 2. Because we have nobody at running back right now. Nobody. Tyree says, we need depth of the offensive line. We clearly can't run the ball. Defense had no pressure on the second half. Good news. Carson Wentz didn't get hurt after that beating. I agree with everything he just said. That's this video in a nutshell right there. No depth on the offensive line. You can't run the ball. I don't know if that's because of the defense or the offensive line, and the defensive line was so good, or just the fact that these running backs aren't really that great. People have film on Boston Scott now. Corey Clement, he's just not the guy that he was. He's just not. You can tell. You can just tell by name one carry that he had that was worth anything. None. Again, another chance by him to be a leader. Just not. You need somebody that can go up to Doug Peterson, especially one of these running backs, and go, Carson's getting beat up. Put the ball in my hands. That's what you need. A leader like that. The Eagles don't have that. And again, I like Boston Scott. He did something for this channel. I like Boston Scott. I do. A complimentary player, not a lead back, not a second back. I'm just like, my mind is blown at how inept the management of this team is. And we all saw it. The whole Jason Peters thing. The guy, you have limited practices. You don't have OTAs. You don't have preseason games. You're playing around like for weeks, playing around. Oh, Jason Peters, Howie Roseman gets on the press conference and has the freaking nerve to sit there and say, oh, Jason Peters is a Hall of Famer, and he's doing tremendous at right guard. We're going to keep him at right guard because he's doing tremendous. Meanwhile, Andre Dillard isn't up to the task at left tackle. You didn't draft well there. He gets hurt without even a preseason. What are you playing a snap at left tackle? And you mean you're telling us fans, Philadelphia fans, who, look, nothing against fans from any other city, but we kind of know what we're talking about most of the time? You're going to sit here trying to pull the wool over our eyes and tell me that Jason Peters is going to be your right guard and you have no left tackle like Matt Pryor can do it? And then, magically one day, Jason Peters comes into Doug Peterson's office, gives him a hug and says, I'll play left tackle for you, coach. And the next day he's paid more. Get the hell out of here. And while we're at it, let's talk Matt Pryor. I can't blame Matt Pryor for being a bad football player at this point. You know why? You want to know why? Because you took Matt Pryor, who is a right guard, who did not play bad at right guard during that Giants game when Brandon Brooks got hurt, or in the Seattle playoff game. Did not play poorly. You tell him that he's going to be the left tackle now because Dillard's gone. Then when Peters decides he wants to hug Doug Peterson and come back, you put him back at right guard to practice. Then Lane Johnson can't practice, so you practice him at right tackle. And today, guess what? Nowhere to be seen. Matt Pryor, nowhere to be seen. Doesn't play a snap. Instead, you play rookie Jack Driscoll, who I thought played okay until he got hurt. Again, rookie playing a best defensive line in football. Okay, he didn't play that bad. And then when he goes out, you put Jordan Mailata in, who hasn't ever played a snap of football in a real game. Not college, not pro football. He is a rugby player. While Matt Pryor, this guy you tried to sell to me. Howie Roseman tries to sell me him. You know what I mean? As a guy that could play left tackle, and he's not even starting. It's ridiculous. That's what this team does, man. The injuries, I get it. You don't want to let the team know your game plan. You don't want to tip your hat to the other team or let them know what you're doing. But how? And please share this video, guys, because I want Eagle fans to hear this. How does a coach tell us for 4 weeks, maybe 3, but it feels like it's been a month? How does our coach, our Super Bowl winning coach, I've had his back since day one when he was hired. I said he was going to be a good coach because he was a backup quarterback, which is basically a coach. He was a backup quarterback for Brett Favre, for Dan Marino, for Donovan McNabb. He worked under Andy Reid. I knew he was going to be a good coach from the beginning, and he won the Super Bowl. But how can he sit here and tell us for 3 to 4 weeks that Miles Sanders, that taking him out of practice is just because he's being cautious? That just because that it's not a serious injury, that he wasn't going to miss any significant playing time, and then 2 days before he's listed as questionable, and yesterday he's deemed out of this game. Everyone said to me, "Oh, because I did a video. Miles Sanders' injury is concerning, right?" And I had guys tell me in different Facebook groups I'm part of that. How can you? Like just rest him. It's only the Washington football team. Just rest him. He's got a hammy. It's normal with running backs. Okay. Every game counts. You need to beat garbage teams like this. You cannot lose to garbage teams. You can't. There's only 16 games. This isn't baseball. This isn't basketball. You have 16 games. You cannot lose to a horrible team like the Washington football team. You needed Miles Sanders. You need him out there for every game. Does Ezekiel Elliott miss games like this? Does Saquon Barkley miss games like this? I know Saquon missed some games last year, but I'm just saying, running backs that franchise running backs or star running backs, they don't do this. Miles Sanders, I think he's going to be awesome, but he just doesn't play. That killed this thing, man. Not only are you without your right tackle, you're without your star running back. I can't seem to let people know. And if you're watching me on Facebook right now, I can't see what you're saying. So if you actually log on to the YouTube feed, I'll be able to see your comments, but I can't see them unless I log on to YouTube. Again, guys, I can't. If this was a game, like I said, the Eagles against a decent team, a good team, I probably wouldn't be this upset. I mean, every loss hurts, right? As a fan, you don't like to see your team lose. But to lose to a team like this, that's what gets me. That's what I don't get. I don't understand. And I'm looking at the Facebook feed now. Miss Stacy Wyatt talking about the offensive line, and she says the offensive line trying to get Wentz hurt out of the gate. Absolutely. And you know what? It's coaching. These guys can't help that they're not good. You know what I mean? They can't. It's not that they're trying to get Wentz hurt. It's just they're not good enough. So the coaches, how many times did Wentz roll out? Did he even roll out? I mean, he's one of the most accurate quarterbacks when he rolls out. I don't remember him rolling out. I remember him sitting in a pocket. This is just it falls on the coaching. Todd Moran from Facebook, long time no see, fellow Eagles fan, says the NFL had to let the Washington football team win their first game, or that would be the next protest. I don't know about that. I think the Eagles not having an offensive line pretty much did that. Delvin McCall, 8 sacks. Yeah, 8. I mean, dude, and Delvin McCall's a Giants fan. Yeah, that reminded me of that Giants game where Winston Justice was on the offensive line and gave up like 10 sacks to the Giants. I mean, it was bad. I mean, I'm looking at some of these comments. My boy Matt Carrar says, "Go Washington football team, dude." Look, I know you're a fan of them, but that team is bad, dude. They play a team with a good offensive line, or at least just an offensive line with pro football players. They're losing every time. You can't use HHTR anymore. There's no red. They're not Redskins. It's not held to the Redskins. So you can't use it anymore. They're not the Redskins. They're the football team. They're a bad team. They might only beat the Eagles this year. They might beat them both times. The Eagles don't have an offensive line, but that's it. 8 sacks. Jimmy Williams, 8 sacks. Sounds like a good team. No, 8 sacks means you're off. The offensive line that they were playing was horrible. And look, I will give you this. They have a great offensive line. Chase Young is going to be a nightmare for everybody. Jonathan Allen is underrated. Ryan Kerrigan is awesome, as he always is. But other than that, that team sucks. If Carson Wentz didn't throw those 2 interceptions within the 20, I mean, that's 14 points there. That's 14 points. He literally handed what was it Kerrigan the ball at the end of the game. I mean, this has more to do. This isn't the Washington team winning. This is the Philadelphia Eagles losing. That's exact. And Tom Jones says one person can't lose a game for a team, and I agree. It's not all on Carson. It's a lot. It's that it's the Eagles defense. Just kind of. I don't know if they just figured, look, this Washington team sucks. We're just gonna. They're not going to score on us, or if, it's the Washington team having a short field for a couple of those touchdowns, or miscommunication in the end zone with Mills and Maddox. I don't know what it was, but it's not like the Redskins the football team put together some tremendous drives, and Haskins. I mean, look at Haskins' numbers. Did he even have 200 yards passing? The stats kind of tell the whole game. Jeffrey London says, to be honest, I don't like Dougie putting a rookie right tackle in that position. We need to go pick up some veteran linemen this offseason. Absolutely. And again, this is, I can't drill this point in hard enough. The guy that played right tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles replaced an all-pro right tackle, maybe Hall of Fame right tackle in Lane Johnson. He's a rookie. He played for Auburn, was drafted in the 5th round, maybe 4th round. But either way, this is not a first round tackle that they drafted. This is not a second round tackle that they drafted. This is a rookie right tackle out of Auburn drafted in the 4th, 5th round. And you're asking him to guard Chase Young. You're asking him to guard I think Chase Young, I think he flipped a couple times. This is just bad. And again, Wentz does not get a pass here. He doesn't. Tyree says Wentz didn't play like Wentz. Why didn't he roll out? Why didn't he call his own plays like last year? Why is no one coming to Wentz on silent? Exactly. It's coaching. This is coaching. 100% coaching. All these 15 or 16 offensive assistants at the Eagles, Rich Scangarello and Morty Morningwig, all these guys that they got together instead of hiring an offensive coach, they can't. How do we see it? How do we see the stats of how accurate Wentz is when he rolls out? And these guys don't roll out. I don't understand it. Please, somebody explain this to me. How does that happen? You cannot, especially when you've got your offensive line is poor. I didn't see any plays that were different to try to somehow get the ball out of his hands quicker, or a wheel route, or the screenplays were very. You can't screen with an offensive line that's garbage. But there was just nothing. They left him in the pocket like a sitting duck. There were no quarterback called runs. There was nothing. This was a horribly coached offensive game. I can't even begin to tell you how bad this was. And you know what? It's like, to me, when you're missing, and again, I can't. I would applaud this Washington team if they. This is more the Eagles losing. I hate to sound like a Eagle fan that's crying right now, but this is facts, okay? This Eagles team lost this game. 7 starters didn't even play to begin. They lose 2 more in the game. How do you win in the National Football League like that? How? And the injuries happen on your most important parts of your team, your lines. That's where the game's won. Your offensive line is garbage. Brandon Graham gets hit in the head or something. He's out. Vinny Curry pulls a hamstring. He's out. What do you do? Howie Roseman, let's talk running backs. Let's talk running backs. Did the Washington team have a running back that impressed you today? Because I didn't see it. The Eagles, on the other hand, you've got 2 guys on your practice squad right now that practiced with you all offseason that I heard some pretty good reviews about. Elijah Holyfield, Adrian Killins. Where were they today? Oh, that's right. They were in street clothes. They weren't part of this team. You know who was part of this team? Jason Huntley, 5th-round pick of the Detroit Lions that the Eagles just acquired last Monday. Somebody explain that to me. Please. You've got 2 guys on your team that know your offense because they've been with you all offseason. You got a guy that just got here last Monday. And look, Jason Huntley might end up being a really good running back for some team, maybe the Eagles even. How do you put him in there with a week with the team, man? Am I like, am I in some Twilight Zone world of football? Do I not understand the game? I don't understand this. Because look, again, Boston Scott is okay. Corey Clement, let's just say that the Eagles coaches thought he was going to do something in this game. All right. Whatever. If one of those guys gets hurt, you're down to Jason Huntley as one of the guys that really has to contribute instead of a guy that's been on the team. And Elijah Holyfield's been here since last year. It's unreal. You know, I want to talk running backs because I thought that the Eagles would get a veteran running back this year in the offseason. They let go of Jordan Howard, which I think is a mistake. I don't know what Jordan Howard did with Miami today. I think he might have had like a short touchdown last time I saw. But him and Miles was a good 1-2 punch. You don't have that anymore. You need Devontae Freeman's on the street right now. If I'm Howie Roseman, I'm on the phone right now with his agent saying, what can we do to work on a 1-year deal? And I know the Eagles' salary cap's all screwed up and all this. You don't want to carry over any money, but you've got to do something. Because guess what? If Miles Sanders plays next week, who's to say he's not going to be hurt again during the year? I mean, I'm not confident that he won't be. Get a guy like Devontae Freeman in here, because what would you have rather had today, Eagle fans? People in the comments, what would you have rather? People on Facebook, what would you have rather had today? Would you have rather had Boston Scott and Corey Clement and Jason Huntley, or Devontae Freeman, Boston Scott, and Corey Clement? Because I can tell you which one I would have had. I would have rather had a running back that played in the Super Bowl. I mean, you just got to be kidding me. Let's look at these comments, guys. Let's look at some comments. Kyle Berry says, Ertz versus Roseman. What's that about? So apparently a report came out from Adam Schefter earlier today that Zach Ertz and Howie Roseman had some kind of animated discussion. Look, Ertz is, I said this earlier, Ertz is at odds with Howie Roseman because of the contract. He wants an extension. He's still on the Eagles team for 2 more years. His contract's still 2 more years. Like, the Eagles are not in any hurry to re-sign Zach Ertz. And you kind of saw today Dallas Goedert. I mean, Dallas Goedert he really looks like he's going to be a beast at tight end. So I can't blame the Eagles. I would sign Zach Ertz just because I always think about, what if this guy was on another team and he was demanding a trade? Would I want my team to trade for him? And yeah, it's a guy that we would all want here. But I just don't think he has a leg to stand on right now with 2 years left on his deal and Dallas Goedert playing really, really well. I just don't think it. Tyrigo says, more injuries, not the medical staff, it's conditioning. It's a level of toughest during training camp. Hate to say it, Andy Reid, Chip Kelly didn't have injuries. You're right. I thought about Chip Kelly earlier with the smoothies and the way the sports science and all that. Maybe the Eagles need to look into that. Maybe they need to look into bringing this up because, look, this doesn't happen to other teams. When the Washington football team has 1 guy out and the Eagles have 7, ends up being 9, there's an issue. Where do you see this in other teams? Because I don't see it. I don't. Angry, man. I mean, look, they should not have lost to this team. You're up 17 points. Your defense should at least hold. The offense didn't do anything. I get it. But you're facing Dwayne Haskins, who's a bad quarterback. You're playing 1 good wide receiver, and that's it. Jordan Reed's not on the team anymore. I mean, what there's nothing else. The Washington team has nothing. Short field or not. Yes, Carson gave him a short field. But that's about it. That's just one of my notes here. The hurry-up offense. When the Eagles did the hurry-up offense early in the game, it worked. Every time they did the hurry-up offense, it worked against the Washington defense. And guess what? It went away. It disappeared. They stopped doing it. Why? Why do they do that? It's going back to last year. Stuff works, and you stop doing it. The hurry-up was working, and they just dismantled it. They just stopped it. Why was Carson Wentz under center so much? You're already getting destroyed. Put him in the shotgun all game. I don't care. I mean, it is a miracle that this guy is not hurt. It is a miracle. Let's go back to the comments here. Jay is worthy. This is what happened to him prior. Did he go AWOL? I don't know. Maybe he's – I don't know what he did. Maybe he said something wrong to one of the coaches. He's got some kind of heat on him because a guy that you were depending a lot on your offensive line didn't play. Not one snap. Does anyone else find that weird? Anybody else in the comments find that weird? Anybody else watching on Facebook find it a little weird that a guy that they drilled into my head during the offseason was a good offensive lineman that could play guard when Brooks went out, or could play tackle for Lane Johnson, or could play left tackle, doesn't play a single snap. We play the Rams next week, who have weapons, unlike Washington. The Rams have offensive players on their team. The Rams have a pretty decent line. They got a guy named Aaron Donald. You might have heard of him. They got a corner named Jalen Ramsey. You might have heard of him. How are the Eagles going to win that game? How are they going to win that game? You can't beat a horrible, bad football team. And if they lost to a good football team, I guarantee you, and you can look at my videos from last year, I will tip my hat and I will say, look, the Eagles lost to the better team. The better team won. The Washington football team is not a better team. They will probably win 3 or 4 games this year. They don't have anybody on offense. For some reason, Jim Schwartz and this defense let them off the hook, man. It's like the Phillies bullpen. It's like watching the Phillies bullpen. When the offense is struggling, when the offensive line sucks and the offense can't get anything done, that defense needs to come together and go, it's on us. They didn't do that. Why? I don't know. Is it because the Eagles don't have any linebackers? Maybe because they're all new. I mean, the secondary is all new. Maybe there's no chemistry there. I don't know. But nobody stepped up. Nobody on that defense stepped up and said, this is on us. This offense can't do shit. We have to stop this team that doesn't have anybody. Is there anybody in the defensive huddle that could have said that? That could have said, look at these guys. They're scrubs. They shouldn't be beating us. I don't care if Carson throws a interception at the 20-yard line. They're not getting past the 23-yard line. Jake Elliott can't hit a friggin' field goal. I mean, there were so many things in this game. There's so many things to be mad about, guys. And I'm at 38 minutes of straight ranting right now. And I could rant all night. Because you can't win. You can't lose a game like this. You can't lose to this team. This team they don't even have a name. We lost to a team that doesn't even have a name. And I don't know who Washington plays next week, but I can guarantee you they're not going to – there's no way that this Washington team wins more than 4 games. There's no way. And that's what makes this so upsetting, that we lost to a team that has literally no playmakers. None. You know what? Yeah, Eagles Company 1992. We don't have Malcolm anymore. That was our leader. Would Malcolm Jenkins have snatched some guys up and said, what are you doing? This team can't beat him. Maybe he would. There's got to be a voice there. There's got to be a voice there. And they just, from what I saw right now, they just don't. I've been following this team all offseason. Every little move that they make, I've been following. Every single move that they make, I've been following. I've been reporting on it, practice after practice after practice. I believe this is a good team. I really do. The playmakers on offense, you saw little blips of it. You saw Jalen Reagor. You saw the tight ends Dallas Goedert and even Zach with the touchdown. You saw little blips. Deshaun caught a couple balls, which Deshaun's another thing. I saw him on the sideline a lot of the game, apparently holding his midsection or something. Whatever. But there's blips there. John Hightower, I think he'll be okay. They've got something. Miles Sanders, when he plays, he'll be dynamic. You had to get this win. You just had to. You had to. I mean, look, I had the Eagles going 12-4 this year. After today, if it's an 8-8 team, if they can't get these injuries together, man, it really is. How do you I just don't get it. And look, these guys, this team, coaches, obviously they are more dialed into their team than we are. You mean to tell me you didn't know 3 days ago that Lane Johnson wasn't going to play? You couldn't come up with a better backup plan than Jack Driscoll and Nate Herbig? I mean, come on, man. There are guys on the street with more experience than those two that would have been better. It's just it's unreal. It's just unreal. After last year's playoff game in Seattle, I was there for that. Not in Seattle, but we played Seattle. I was there for it, and watching Carson get taken out by a cheap shot, and then you see him come in today and he's looking good. The touchdown to Goddard and Ertz and driving the ball down the field nonstop. And you start seeing him get his ass whooped. And it's just, he said he had a press conference. He said he wasn't skittish after all the hits. How are you not? How is a human being not so skittish after you're getting hit time after time after time by guys 3 times bigger than you? Tyreek, good question. Why so many deep balls? Yeah, so I figure, and especially towards the end of that second half, or that first half, Carson was just throwing the ball up, man. And you know what? At that point, I didn't blame him because it's like, dude, you're getting your ass whooped. Why not just throw it up and take a chance? Why not? He threw a couple to Reagor, a couple to Deshaun. At that point, he's just throwing that shit in the air, man, because you're going to get hit. Hightower, you can't. There was the one play, I think it was Hightower or Reagor, one of the interceptions. They kind of floated away from the route, and they didn't come back fast enough. It was an interception. So he doesn't trust them, guys. Trust is a real thing with him. It's the deep ball, flying those deep balls like he did. I didn't really have an issue with it because at that point, why not? And yeah, Schwartz is to blame. Schwartz, look, how many games, guys, and I'm glad you said this, Tyree. How many football games has Jim Schwartz, have we watched over the past 2 years? Eagles have a big lead, and it's gone. The Titans 1 year, I remember. Last year, I think it was the Panthers. I mean, these fourth quarter comebacks these teams are having, again, it's a completely revamped secondary. A lot of this has to do with Jim Schwartz, too. What are you doing? Minute left in the game, or in the second half, and the football team score a touchdown. It's just doesn't make any sense. Eagles company. Let's see what this is. Carson don't look like a fifth-year player. I don't know how Mahomes and Lamar in their third year look way better than Carson. Well, I can tell you why. I can tell you exactly why. Let's go to Patrick Mahomes first. Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, the face of the league, amazing football player, best quarterback playing, bar none. But he's got a coach named Andy Reid that builds his offensive line. Look at the Chiefs' offensive line. It's amazing. And their depth is really good too. Look at the line that Andy built when he was here. I mean, that's why. The Ravens' offensive line is great. They've got a great offensive line. When you've got an offensive line, Carson did not look like a fifth-year player. He looked like a second-year player today. When you don't have an offensive line, I mean, I don't know how to stress this. It's like throwing the ball against a brick wall. because you don't have a chance. Joe Montana would not have a chance with this Eagles offensive line. John Elway, Johnny Unitas, you name it. They're just Patrick Mahomes. You put Patrick Mahomes on this Eagles offense and this Eagles offensive line, there's no change in today's game. There's none. There really isn't. I love Doug as a coach, but come on, man. The coach, the structure, and it's game one. It's game one. Overreaction city, right? Maybe I'm overreacting, but I got to play on my emotions. I've got to. But maybe, and again, it's game one, so I don't want to say this, but maybe instead of hiring an offensive coordinator, when you hired these 15 other offensive gurus, maybe that hurt. Todd's watching again. What's up, Todd? That hurts. Andy Reid has a set structure. He's got an offensive coordinator. He's got a quarterback coach who goes a more traditional way. What the Eagles did this year with all the different offensive assistants, I mean, maybe that does kind of hurt a little bit. And it sucks because the first couple drives were really good. And then you started to see the wheels falling off. When Carson started getting beat up, I knew it. And I said to my father who was watching with me, I said, if Carson keeps getting beat like this, it's gonna be bad. You can only get beat up so many times to where, and people think this is Madden. Like, if you keep getting hit, so if you get hit 25 times in a row, are you going to be as accurate as you were when your first pass to your 26th pass? No, because you're now beat up. You're beat up. You're a beat up player. As a boxer, you're not as powerful as you are in the first couple rounds. Once you get to the 12th round, your power's not as good because you've been beaten up for 12 rounds. And that's what happens. Yeah. Boston Scott got hurt. Driscoll, the rookie, got hurt. Deshaun, Vinny Curry, Brandon Graham, all in game. Did Elijah Holyfield dress? No, he didn't. He should have. Honestly, Corey Clement got to go. Good player, but I agree with you 100%. Corey Clement had a chance to do something this game. He did not do it at all. I would have dressed Elijah Holyfield over Jason Huntley because I don't know shit about Jason Huntley. He's only been with the team since last Monday. Come on. Sign Devontae Freeman. Cut Corey Clement. I'm in for it. I'm down for it. Apparently, Freeman's workout didn't go that great with Jacksonville a week ago. At this point, I don't care. I'm calling him today. This is going to be a really long season. This is the way it's going to be. This team needs to be these coaches, Doug Peterson, have got to be honest with us fans. Yeah, I know they don't, but come on, man. Don't tell me everything is it's not that big a deal. It's not serious. Miles Sanders not practicing for a month. It's not serious. Just being cautious. Oh, Lane Johnson. Yeah, he got his ankle cleaned up. Not serious. Just, we go in today's game against the best defensive front that we'll probably see all year. Get destroyed. That's what happened to the Eagles today. They got absolutely destroyed. Yeah, Carson's going to feel those hits tomorrow. He felt those hits during the game. He tried to say he didn't. Yeah, I didn't become skittish after getting hit. Okay. I don't know, guys. I'm at a loss. No, Foles would have got destroyed against his line too, Donnie. He just would have. He would have. He really would have. Like I said, you could have put anybody on this line. They would have got hurt. Honestly, as a commander, does the O-line suck? I think it's both. I just think it's both. I mean, times that Corey got the ball, like, there was no explosion. There was no there was nothing. He just didn't. He looks big. He looks like a fullback. Corey Clement looks like a fullback right now. That's what he looked like. That's what he ran like. I think he caught a couple screens, didn't do anything. Dougie P, he went for it on fourth. Man, it was at the end of the game. Like, if they didn't get the ball, it was the Ertz drop. I thought he didn't need to go for a fourth down there because it put the Washington team right like in field goal range. So, yeah, Doug did not have a good day today at all. You can tell that preseason games like this was the Eagles played this like a preseason game. I mean, it was Elsie's watching. What's up, Elsie? Yeah, it was at 4th and 4. Yep. And look, I've got no problem, man, going for it on 4th down most of the time. But when it's towards the end of the game, you're already down by 10. I think they were down by 10 at that point. If you don't make it, they have the ball in field goal range. Why go for it there? Punt the ball away, try to get it back. It's again, this is all easy stuff. Yeah, if you don't convert, the game is over. They couldn't move the ball. I mean, I agree with everything that Matt says here. They couldn't move the ball. So many different pieces of this team that are to blame. It's going to drive me nuts all week. I've got to put content together, and I hate to be super negative. I really wanted to come on here and pull out some positives to this game, but there just wasn't any. What the punter was pretty good. Donnie Jones is pretty good, right? That was it. That's it. There was no positive for the Eagles here at all. None. Tyrese, I promise you during Doug's press conference, you will not take the blame for putting that terrible offensive line together. Yeah, I watched some of the press conference he already had, and he didn't. Doug is a guy that, like, he's a player's coach, so he's not going to throw his players under the bus. At the same time, he's not going to take all the blame either. He's going to kind of try to steer the question in a different way, and that's what he did. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely 100% right. But at some point, I mean, again, you play a Rams team that is light years better than this Washington team. I haven't even watched them. They're going to be playing tonight against the Cowboys. I can tell you right now, just from their personnel, they're light years better. Jared Goff, well, I don't think much of him, but he is better than Dwayne Haskins. Dwayne Haskins was ranked 32nd best quarterback in the league, dead last. And you look at his numbers today, he didn't do that great, but he didn't throw any picks. He didn't have any turnovers. Our quarterback had, 3 of those? Whether it was his fault or not, can't happen. Can't happen, guys. I know you guys are all feeling my pain like me. Feels good to get off my chest. For everybody that's watching, I'm losing my voice. As I was very animated during the game until the end. It was crickets in my house. Jeffrey London, thanks for watching, dude. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm trying to, put out this content, kind of connect with Eagle fans and even connect with fans of other teams. We've went through this year so much, even though the result was horrible. And I'm going to end this, guys, on a positive note here as we come to an hour. Even though the result of this game was god-awful, it was good to see football again. It was good to feel normal again. COVID-19, the pandemic, has taken so much away from us, so much away from our families, from our kids doing schooling. It's taken away a lot. The way we go to work, we got to wear a mask to go to the grocery store. COVID-19 has taken a lot out of us. It was good. It was really good no matter what the result of today. It was good just to see football. It really was. It felt good to kind of feel normal again. And it was normal. It felt normal watching the Washington game because fans don't really come to their games anyway. So their stadium is pretty much empty unless it's the other team's fans going. So it was just good to kind of feel like none of that stuff, the outside stuff, is going on. That's what sports gives us. It gives us a distraction from the outside world. And I think football did that today, as it'll continue to do that all year. Tough loss for us, guys. Tough loss to a crappy team. A really bad Washington football team. We just couldn't finish them off. 27 unanswered points. The good thing is, the positive thing is, can it get any worse than this? Is there? I don't know if there's a team worse than them on our schedule that we could lose to. I don't think so. So it really can't get any worse. And Maniac Matt, good comment. Washington Stadium looks the same as last year. It does. I mean, it really does. Nothing different there. And at the end of the day, at least our team has a name, as they don't have a name. So, with that being said, guys, I think I'm gonna call this one. I think I'm gonna just end this broadcast right now. It's been really fun with speaking to fans like myself about this. Seeing friends watching is pretty cool. Thanks everybody for joining in. This will probably be a staple for most of the season. A live stream after the game. Hopefully, more of them than not will be a little bit happier than this. Man, this is a tough one. Tough, but it's good to have football back. It really is. Thanks for watching, everybody. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Go Birds. I'll see you later.